All right, Todd. Well, just before I begin, I did want to thank Brad and team for providing CCIA an opportunity to update industry on what we've been working on, both in terms of updates to the CLTS and preparations for the incoming regulations, as well as our research projects and initiatives that have been underway the last 2 years. So today I'll just be providing a brief overview on who the Canadian Cattle Identification Agency is and who's involved in traceability along with their associated responsibilities. I'll be touching on the updated CLTS user interface and updated privacy consent feature for lost stray found livestock that was introduced in 2024. I'll be touching on preparing for the upcoming traceability regulatory amendments, movement reporting responsibilities, CCIA resources, and finishing up with an update on our research projects. So just a little bit about CCIA. We are an industry-initiated and led non-for-profit organization that was incorporated to establish a national livestock identification program to support efficient traceback and containment of serious animal health and food safety concerns in the Canadian livestock industry. We are the responsible administrator of the animal identification program and traceability initiatives for beef, cattle, bison, sheep, and of course, pending regulation, cervids, and goats. Currently, our responsibilities are limited just to bison in Quebec. And we're also one of 4 responsible administrators. And as a responsible administrator, CCIA wholly owns and manages the Canadian Livestock Tracking System, also known as the CLTS database. So who is currently involved in the Canadian livestock traceability? We've got government, so we've got the Canadian Food Inspection Agency and Agriculture and Agri-Foods Canada. We've got our responsible administrators, so that's ourselves. There's also Pig Trace at Testra, which is responsible for all of the regulated species in Quebec, and Dairy Trace for dairy cattle. We've got primary producers, so that's for cattle, sheep, bison, and pending regulatory amendments, cervids, and goats. We've also got our intermediate sites, so that would be assembly yards, feedlots, vet clinics, exhibitions, and auction marts. And then we've also got terminal sites for cattle and bison, currently not for sheep. So what are the responsibilities of each sector? So when we're looking at government, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is always dedicated to safeguarding food, animals, and plants, which ultimately enhances the health and well-being of Canada's people, environment, and economy. They also set and support the objective of the National Livestock Identification and Traceability Program, which is to provide accurate and up-to-date livestock identity, movement, and location information to mitigate the impact of disease outbreaks, food safety issues, and natural disasters. The government is also responsible to approve responsible administrators who are subject to a contractual agreement that clearly defines our roles, responsibilities, and obligations. They also approve or revoke the animal identification devices, which is usually based on recommendations coming from the responsible administrators. And the most important item to highlight is the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is responsible to establish the regulations and does provide the full regulatory enforcement for animal identification as defined in the health of animal regulations. So when we're looking at the responsibilities of a responsible administrator, that is someone who is responsible for delivering a traceability program that's already been defined by federal regulations. So every species group with traceability regulations must have a responsible administrator, either selected or assigned. They're responsible to manage the database for a specific species and/or territory. They manage all the things associated with the tags. And they also promote compliance among all regulated species through communication and support. So we've got CCIA being the responsible administrator, and then we've got CFIA as the regulator and the enforcer. So what are the current responsibilities for each sector? For the primary producers, they must purchase and apply an approved tag or indicator when an animal leaves the farm for any reason, whether it's a temporary absence or permanent. For intermediate sites, when an untagged animal arrives at the intermediate site must either provide a tag or deny unloading. They may also opt to apply to become a tag dealer or a retailer. And all terminal sites must report the slaughter of animals within 30 days by submitting a retirement event to our database. So what are CCIA's main responsibilities? It really is to maintain and manage the Canadian Livestock Tracking System database, which is secure and accessible for traceback. We're responsible for everything tag or indicator related, such as assigning the unique identification numbers, tag testing, any recommendations that need to get put forward to the minister, quality and distribution. We're also responsible for the communication of compliance and being able to explain how to be compliant as a regulated party in relation to the CLTS. So that includes things such as what to do, when to do it, where to find or send the information, who does what, and why traceability. And we're also responsible to educate our regulated parties on how to use the CLTS and where they can purchase tags. So in October of 2024, CCIA introduced a redesigned CLTS that makes data entry much simpler. The new interface is more user-friendly with streamlined screens and processes. Users are now able to enter data in different tabs on the same page rather than navigating through multiple pages, creating an improved user-friendly experience. Additional features include more automated data validation to minimize errors and improve reporting tools for better insights and compliance tracking. And just to note as well that in the CLTS Resource Center, you will find step-by-step instructions or how-to guides that will make the CLTS easier to use. You also find templates in there as well that you can complete and use to submit information to the CLTS. And on my next slide here, you'll see a snapshot of the new CLTS interface. So here is the new CLTS homepage interface. On the left side, you'll see the sidebar menu, which does provide easy navigation to all the key features of the system. To the right, we have a list of all the recent transactions for quick access to previously entered data. And above that, you will find quick links to submit events directly online or through file upload. So the streamlined layout helps users navigate more efficiently, making it quicker and easier to submit and manage animal data. On this screen, we are looking at the unused tag inventory module, which is a subsection of the broader inventory module. This section allows users to track and manage tags that have been issued but not yet assigned to any animals. It also provides an organized view of unused tags, helping users ensure that inventory is properly managed and tags are available when needed for future assignment. And this is also the new event submission module, and it was designed for ease of use by our clients. So users can now input data across different tabs within a single page, eliminating the need to switch between multiple pages. And this streamlined process enhances efficiency and makes event submission quicker and more intuitive. And this is the new event submission module with a simplified interface for file uploads. So users can now easily upload batch files, streamlining the process for submitting multiple events at once. And clients would often reach out to CCIA seeking owner information for lost, stray, or found livestock. However, due to privacy legislation, CCIA cannot share a user's contact information from the database without consent. So to address this issue, we did work with CFIA to receive approval to develop a consent request pop-up window. So this new feature was released in the fall of 2024, and it does provide CLTS users an option to share their contact information with CCIA to help retrieve the lost and found livestock. So upon initial login, new and existing users will need to accept the CCIA privacy agreement to use the database. And then depending on the user's operational type, a pop-up window will prompt them to select a privacy option for stray livestock consent. All other information will remain private, and users can opt in or opt out of this option and update their contact privacy by contacting CCIA through our client support specialist team. So then when we're looking back again at the livestock identification and traceability program, we know that it provides accurate and up-to-date livestock identity, movement, and location information to mitigate the impact of disease outbreaks, food safety issues, and natural disasters. In summary, from Heather's presentation already, we know that the identification and registration of premises where livestock are kept or collected, the identification of livestock, and the domestic reporting or movement reporting of livestock are the key changes in the proposed regulatory amendments. For right now, CFIA owner guides were created when Canada Gazette 1 was published and original consultations were underway with industry. It is still the most current document available for industry to reference, and it's still located and accessible on the CFIA website. As Heather mentioned, it's important to note that there will be some amendments that were based off of the industry consultation. And once Canada Gazette 2 is published, and at that point in time, as they mentioned as well, CFI will create and disseminate the updated guides that are reflective of the published regulations. So what has CCIA been doing, since CG1 was dropped, and to try and help prepare our clients to ensure compliance? So we know the proposed amendments to the health of animals regulations will require individuals purchasing approved indicators to provide their premise identification number or equivalent information of the site where the indicators will be applied. And this must be reported to the responsible administrator at the time of purchase. So in preparation to support this change for our clients, we have made some updates to the CLTS back in December of 2024. So we did add a destination premises ID field to the issued event details page. For animal movement, we've introduced 2 new optional fields, a departure date and an arrival date. A departure date field has been added to the move-in and imported event, and an arrival date field has been added to the move-out and exported event. And this update helps improve the tracking of animals during transit. And we've also added new fields to the retired event to capture important transport details. So the departure date field will now capture the date the animals left for transport to the slaughter facility. The arrival date field will track when animals arrived at the slaughter facility. And the vehicle ID field, which will capture the license plate number of the vehicle or trailer used to transport the animals, has also been added. I want to highlight all of these fields will remain optional for now. Should there be any changes from CG1 to CG2 that we need to reflect in the database, we will have that opportunity to ensure compliance of our clients. We're just waiting to hear back from CFI to get some of those business rules so we're able to finalize what it's going to look like in our system. So then we're looking over at the movement reporting responsibilities. Really, this slide just emphasizes the critical roles played by the various stakeholders in the livestock movement, along with the importance of precise reporting to ensure transparency and compliance in the Canadian livestock tracking system. So what are the movement reporting responsibilities? The CLTS does require specific event reporting based on your role in the cattle supply chain. So feedlots have a separate reporting structure. They must include the tag IDs in the move-in event. Auction mart, assembly yards, and order buyers do not need to include tag IDs, but animal quantity is mandatory to report. And I believe there was a question about how do we report these movements into the CLTS. So there's a few different reporting methods for our clients. So we've got the CLTS web portal. This is typically used for manual entry for low volume reporting. We also do have our mobile app, and it's now bilingual. There was a question, I think, that was talking about having access to LTE and to internet, and what that means. When you're using the mobile app, you can still enter the information. The information is saved in the mobile app, and then once you do have access to internet or have that connection, you're able to go back in and actually submit that report into the CLTS. We also have the Excel file upload. So that's for batch submissions via the CLTS web portal. Again, I had mentioned in the CLTS Resource Center, we do have those templates that you are able to download, so you can put in that information and upload that in. So that's it's usually used for more high volume reporters, I would say. And then we do have the web services, or we call it the third party software providers. So there are some herd management programs out in the market that already have access to an API. What that means is they're able to take the information from their clients who are using that herd management software, and they're able to push through the regulated data that needs to be captured into the CLTS. So they're only entering the information once, and they're reducing the administrative burden of having to enter it in your herd management software and then again in the CLTS. It's just important to note, if you are using that herd management software, to double check to make sure that they do have access to our API and that information is getting pushed forward into the system on your behalf. And then, another step that we took is we added a new feature into the CLTS movement reporting module again in June of 2024, with the goal to ease the administrative burden of movement reporting on our clients. So this enhancement will help ensure compliance with the proposed regulatory amendments and make submitting a movement event easier. So how does the movement record module work? The new addition is a live movement record that's initiated by the producer. So all parties, producer, transporter, and recipient either enter their data, and then the recipient simply submits the recorded information. Although using the movement module currently is not a regulatory requirement, it is a proposed regulation and does represent a significant step towards traceability. And using the movement module will strengthen the effectiveness of traceability efforts and will help streamline the communication between producers, transporters, and destinations. Again, touching on the module is available for use. It is not mandatory, it is optional. So we really are trying to encourage some early adopters to go in and be able to try it out and provide feedback on the usability of our new module. So how it works is the movement is initiated by the producer. So the source account or sender will enter the information about the animal being transported. If animals are being transported to a community pasture, auction, or assembly yard, tag IDs are not required, but recommended for all movement. Then there's an email notification that gets sent to the transporter. So the source account or sender must notify the transportation contact via email so they can get access to enter the transport details. They can also notify the destination contact via email that the record has been created. Next, the transporter will go in and add their information. And so once the record is created, the transporter can add or edit the details of the movement record without requiring a CLTS account. They can also notify the destination. As transporters do not have an account in the CLTS, they are required to complete a two-factor authentication to verify their access before they can update a movement record. Then the destination will confirm the receipt of the animal. So once the record has been created and the transportation details have been added, the destination account or receiver confirms the receipt of the animal and submits the movement event in the CLTS. And so this is just a sample movement record document that comes after that process. The CLTS mobile app also supports the movement record feature, both on the iOS and Android devices. And users can select the movement record option on the event page to create a movement record directly through the app. And I put some snapshots just to show what that looks like in the mobile app as well. When we're touching as well on the movement modules that we have in the system, again, if you go to the CLTS CRC resource site, there are step-by-step guides again for every feature that you would need to be using within the CLTS. I also encourage our clients, we have a dedicated client support team that is available Monday through Friday through our 1-800 number. There's also email. They are a really great resource to be able to help walk you through step-by-step of how to be using these different modules. If you're noticing that you're getting error messages, being able to help you troubleshoot as well. So they're really working to help educate so that the CLTS is really easy for our clients to use and enter their information. So when we're looking at, what are some of the benefits of the movement records, obviously we've got improved traceability of the livestock movements. We've got streamlined communications between producers, transporters, and destinations. We've reduced paperwork and manual entry errors. And we are looking to reduce the burden on the recipient side as well. So CCIA does continue to support our clients in preparing for proposed regulatory changes by encouraging all species groups, so beef, cattle, bison, sheep, and pending new regulations, cervids, and goats, to begin using the movement reporting module in the CLTS. As communicated earlier, we have added features to the CLTS movement reporting module with the goal to ease administrative burden. We are encouraging our clients to participate by reporting livestock movements in the CLTS and share their feedback on the tool's usability. Being proactive and adopting movement reporting early will ease the transition to compliance once the proposed regulations are published. And producers are also being reminded to ensure their premises identification or PID numbers are current, as movement reporting uses PIDs, and they'll become mandatory once federal amendments take place. We're also raising awareness of the importance of movement reporting through our Movement Matters campaign. And as such, we reached out to the Livestock and Markets Association of Canada to assist with the distribution of educational inserts in the remittance envelopes during the fall run. This resource highlights why movement reporting matters, how to access the CLTS record module, and where to find additional guidance or support. Future phases will also target additional stakeholder groups in 2026. In addition to those LMAC members who opted to participate, all CCIA authorized dealers have also been providing an insert at the point of sale for beef indicators, along with all CCIA direct web store purchases. The campaign really does aim to simplify information delivery and encourage the early adoption of movement reporting ahead of the proposed regulations. So if producers or organizations are interested in participating in this campaign, or if they would like to receive the Movement Matters envelope inserts for beef producers, please reach out to my client support team, and they're more than happy to be able to provide those resources to you. CCIA is also developing some new creative materials to accompany this campaign, including refreshed visuals and messaging that focus on the why movement reporting is important. So accurate digital records mean faster action during a disease outbreak and a stronger, more resilient industry. It's not just about compliance. It's about protecting your herd, your livelihood, and the next generation who will carry your legacy forward. This campaign aims to simplify information delivery and really encourage early adoption of movement reporting ahead of the proposed regulations. We've also created and circulated additional versions such as the image on this slide, which was written more like an editorial, which is more educational and more heavy in text. So what are some of the new features that we brought in 2025? CCIA introduced new automation tools such as our chat box and eFax scanning to improve our clients' online experience. CCIA is working to educate approved dealers' frontline staff on using the Canadian Livestock Tracking System, understanding CCIA's dealer agreement and compliance with government regulations for all species. Dealers training sessions have been or received strong positive feedback with the request for them to occur more regularly to help.
Good morning. I'm with Alberta Beef. I'm Sheila. And nice to meet you. I don't know who else coming.
Sorry about that. I think we muted Sheila there.
Okay, sorry. I wasn't sure if there was a question coming or not. But they're having requests for them to occur more regularly to help keep dealers and their staff up to date. As we're moving forward into 2026, we're also expanding on this segment. So we're also going to be holding these information and training sessions for auction marts. And we're already receiving producer groups that are interested as well to have some training specifically on how to use the CLTS. We also this past year introduced some new resources. So as mentioned, the CLTS mobile now has the French language toggle. So you can now set your preferred language, English or French, right at the login and switch anytime during your session. Which of the note, just to make sure your CLTS mobile app is up to date with the latest version by visiting the Apple Store or Google Play Store. And this release is another step forward as we move towards full bilingual support across our systems. We've also created the approved indicator poster. That's a sample as well that I've got on this slide. So we did develop this new educational resource to help support auction marts, abattoirs, and feedlot employees with livestock traceability compliance. So CCIA's approved indicator posters were emailed to these sectors. The posters display all CCIA approved livestock indicators, and this resource is designed to be displayed where animals are processed or used digitally on a phone or for personal reference and training. By keeping this information accessible for staff, it'll also help educate their employees and reinforce the proper use and identification of approved CCIA indicators and daily practices. Again, with this resource, if you have any questions or would like a copy of the poster, please reach out to our client support team and they can send one out to you. In 2025, we also introduced the express shipping option that was added to the web store to help reduce wait times on urgent orders. So we developed this update in response to client feedback and operational reviews that identified there was a need for faster, more convenient process when clients urgently require indicators. So quickly, in a snapshot of how the express shipping works, at checkout, clients can select the express shipping as a checkout option. A pre-authorization will be placed on the credit card, similar to that of prepaying at a gas station. And this allows CCIA operations to prioritize and process the order quickly and efficiently. So in order to take advantage of this new feature, you're welcome to visit our tags.canadaid.ca, so our web store purchase. We've also been focusing on educating the next generation. So we've recognized educating the next generation of agriculture leaders is a key priority for our organization. So through focused outreach to youth agriculture groups like 4-H and educational institutions across Canada, CCIA is promoting traceability awareness and building a foundation for lifelong understanding of responsible livestock identification. From tailored training sessions to age-appropriate resources and educational materials, these efforts are designed to inspire curiosity, support classroom learning, and empower young producers with the knowledge and tools they need to champion traceability in their future careers. Next, I'm going to be moving over to speak about some of our research projects and initiatives. So our research really is focused on 3 main areas to support traceability. The first is take retention. The second is data, so including accuracy, timeliness, and autonomous collection. And the third, making technology work for producers. Our goal is to ease the burden of reporting traceability movements for industry. So activity 1 was looking at using software to synthesize movement data events. So cited events, so tag numbers, location, time, and date are easily obtained and can be collected autonomously from our participating ranches. Using software and data analysis, the project aims to create movement events using collected sighting data in conjunction with existing CLTS data. Activity 2 is the development and testing of a movement event scanner for small and medium enterprises that could reduce the administrative reporting burden on producers as part of the preparations for the proposed changes to the health of animal regulations. So this project is testing new technology designed to simplify the movement reporting into the Canadian livestock tracking system and support a smooth transition to the proposed regulatory requirements. The CCIA movement event scanner is a customized RFID wand designed to connect to a wireless network and submit movement events directly to the CLTS. Stakeholders handling regulated species can use the interface to enter shipment details and shipment date in advance of receiving a shipment. Upon arrival, the tags of the new animals can be scanned with both visual and audio confirmation. And once all the animals in the shipment are scanned, the device compiles the information, and a confirmation is then returned for review or correction before final submission to the CLTS. So by allowing stakeholders to preload their shipment details, scan animals on arrival, and simply press send, the movement event scanner provides a more efficient way of meeting proposed reporting requirements to support Canada's livestock traceability system. As part of this initiative, we are looking for ranches to take part in the scanner testing. So if you have any interest or know somebody who would, again, please reach out to our client support team. We do have 10 of our movement scanners that are ready to go in January. And we are also assessing a satellite connectivity option for use in areas without the LTE network coverage. And then activity 3 is testing active boluses to support autonomous traceability data collection with CCIA exploring the future of livestock identification and traceability with its research project, the Smart Bolus system, as a potential alternative to traditional livestock identification and reporting methods. So the Smart Bolus system offers secure lifetime identification, providing real-time data on an animal's location, movement, and health. Similar in size and weight to a room with hardware magnets, boluses are designed to remain in the animal's reticulum for its lifetime, removed only during processing. The project evaluated location reporting, retention, readability, safety, and ease and convenience of use. On-farm readers reported bolus data and their location autonomously, and CCIA is evaluating lower costs than traditional RFID reader networks for collection and reporting of bolus data. So for an update of the project summary, the ongoing study involves beef calves receiving boluses at 4, 8, or 12 weeks of age, with researchers assessing retention, ease of application, animal health, automated data collection, and real-time movement reporting. Smart boluses transmit encrypted data every 30 minutes to a reader located up to 70 meters away, capturing location, eating and drinking behavior, and body temperature. And producers can also access this information through a software application. During our conveyance testing, the system successfully tracked and reported cattle movements between locations without manual input. And all boluses in the trial were retained to date, and the setup of low-cost pre-configured gateways, so a small automated device that receives and transmits the data from the bolus to the cloud for storage and analysis, was straightforward and easy to set up. Results to date indicate boluses are safe, well-tolerated, and easily administered to calves as young as 4 weeks of age. Although it is too early in the research to draw conclusions, the project does highlight the potential of emerging technologies to simplify reporting, strengthen traceability, and provide real-time insights into animal health and movement. In order to move this research forward, we know that we need to develop a 5-year research plan that'll serve as our roadmap and guide the continued advancement and future funding of the Bolus-based initiative. The drafting of our multi-year plan with priorities, timelines, and budget projections is currently underway, working with Chinook contract